Hey guys, welcome back here to my channel, and today I thought I'd go and do something a little bit different. I'm going to have a go at building a Waltzer. Now, a Waltzer is a ride that you find very often on a British UK Funfair. They have a similar ride in America, which is a tilt-a-whirl, and the closest thing I can get to a Waltzer in Parkitect is actually using the tilt-a-whirl mod. So I put that down there, but I'm going to turn it into a very British looking Waltzer. It's going to be really exciting. Aside from theme parks, I do really love fun fairs as well. I've always, since I was a kid, I've really enjoyed going to the fair and just riding on a few of the flat rides and stuff. As I've got older, I can't really go on the flat rides as much as I used to because I start to feel a bit sick. So it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, so basically a Waltzer, very typical. You have a pay box, like a booth where the controller sits directly in the center of the ride, and then the cars go around the outside. And typically on a British Waltzer, you would have a guy kind of riding the platforms and he would spin the cars, and you get some really intense G-force on them. So yeah, they're really fun, really cool, really intense, and you can literally find one at any fair in the UK. There's guaranteed always going to be a Waltzer there. So I've actually gone ahead in Photoshop and just kind of put some couple like deco art pieces together just to put onto billboards, and then I'm actually going to use Freedom 2K and go around the entire ride and put the kind of artwork around the whole thing so it really looks like a typical one. I'm just going to put a picture on the screen now for you of the artwork that I've done. So I've just taken these from a real Waltzer and I've just photoshopped them, make them nice and even, etc. This is a very typical design for a handrail that would go around the boards where the people would walk. And this is a typical kind of panel that you would have around the outside of the Waltzer. So I just did those. Those are going to go onto billboards and put them into the game. It's going to look awesome. Well, I hope it does anyway. And then also I'm just kind of doing some lights here on the pay box in the center. I added a little Waltzer sign there using some text. And yeah, I'm just going to show you a picture now as well of a real Waltzer, just in case you're not that familiar with them, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So this is the front of one. They always have the big sign saying Waltzer and the steps on the front. And here's just the view as well from like the side, so you can kind of see some of those art panels there. So this is the look I'm trying to achieve with this. I'm making the inside nice and dark, so it's very dark at night time, and you've got like these hot neon colors. So yeah, I'm doing that. So, and then I'm doing like these poles now, which kind of come out from the middle and they go all the way around the edge, like coming out in like a star. This was kind of difficult because I had to try and get them to line up, and the way that the panels are split around the kind of the rim of the ride is not really like that easy to follow in terms of like going off the grid in game. So I had to kind of figure out how to do that. I've put the Freedom 2K mod at this moment in time into 11.25. So that allows me to rotate the pieces at 11.25 degrees, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. So that's not quite worked out. I do have to compromise a little bit and make those beams not quite exact how I want them. But to be honest, in the end, when I put the roof and everything onto it, you can't see it anyway. So I don't know why I spent all the time doing it. And I also did all these little red bulbs underneath each beam coming out as well, which you would find also on a real life one. And again, you can't see that at the end because of the roof. But anyway, never mind. Actually, the same with the pay box there in the middle as well. You can't see it at the end, but you can see it now. So take a look. You'll never see it again unless you take the roof off the ride. But yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out how to put these beams on now. This is design that I came up with. This is the easiest way to do it. It's not quite exact how it would be in real life, but like I said, you're not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do a quarter of the ride and do all the panels and lights and everything, and then I'm going to save that as a blueprint and then copy it around the whole thing to save myself so much time, because it really took a long time to actually line everything up. And then when I start putting on the billboards with the art pieces on them, oh, that was difficult because I had to like line them up and then tilt them in the right direction and stuff. And it's a good job that I've played around with Freedom 2K a little bit now, so I have a bit more of a grasp on how that works. It is kind of overwhelming and a bit daunting at first when you start using that mod. So I'm a bit used to it now, so it's okay. But these are the handrails. You're going to see me rotate the pieces around over and over and over again now, so I do apologize. But yeah, I'm going to start putting in these handrails now around the edge. I just have to change the degrees to like 5.6 or something stupid like that, just to make sure I can really get it on the correct angle. but already from just putting on like 3 or 4, it looks so cool, and I'm so happy with how it looks. It really already starts to look like a real life Waltzer, so I'm really happy with how that turned out. I go through like a phase every year where I get really into fun fairs, and my local fair comes like every August, and it's incredible. So many good rides. There's so many big attractions as well. Obviously I live in Germany, so we don't actually get a Waltzer here because it's a typical British ride. But I get really into it when the fair comes. I start getting really into like my fair mode, and I start really enjoying all the flat rides and looking at all the different machines and stuff. And obviously last year it didn't come because of COVID, and this year it's cancelled as well because of COVID. And I keep seeing all these vlogs and videos on YouTube of people at fun fairs, and I'm a little bit jealous. And I was really inspired by watching some vlogs just to try and build like a Waltzer or something, because I really do like the Waltzer. Haven't been on one for many years. But I really love the artwork on them. Some of them are so well designed, and the artwork on the front and around them is just so incredibly detailed. You might come across 1 or 2 that aren't so great looking, but I want to try and do like a nice one here. I've got some nice colours from the pictures that I found. I think I've got some nice colours, got reds, purples and blues. And yeah, so now I'm just putting on these billboards, trying to get them to line up nicely around the top there. And then I think it's kind of looking really cool. I'm going to save that as a blueprint real soon, I think, and start transferring that around to the rest of the ride. I don't know if any of you remember, I did post a video maybe like a year ago or so, where I was going through my Funfair phase again, and I actually made a giant Funfair in Parkitect as like a scenario, or like as a diorama, sorry. And I did loads of different flat rides, and I dressed them all up to look like real typical Funfair rides with all the artwork and all the lights and everything. And it was so much fun. I didn't actually do a Waltzer then. I don't know whether because the Tilt-A-Whirl mod wasn't in the game or not. I don't remember. But anyway, I feel inspired again, so that's why I'm doing it sort of again. And I'm actually going to make a tiny little diorama. I'll show you around at the end. It's going to be like a 10 by 10 map, so really small. And I'm just going to showcase this one flat ride, put a couple of little stalls in and make it look pretty. Typical Funfair stuff, like some portable toilets and some trees and stuff. It's going to look cool, so I'm going to do that I'll show you around at the end when I've finished building this time lapse. So now I'm going to add the stairs onto the front. It's a little bit different to a real Waltzer. On a real Waltzer they're much bigger, but just because of the way this is in Parkitect, I'm going for like it has to be smaller, otherwise it look a bit wrong. But the steps on a Waltzer, that's where people normally hang out, like teenagers. They hang out on the stairs of the Waltzer for some reason. I don't know why, but every time I've been to a fair, that's what seems to be happening. And it's very similar here in Germany with the breakdance. Like all the teenagers and everyone, they're hanging out, having a good time on the breakdance, on the steps, around the edges. Seems to be the done thing. So now I'm doing the marquee for the ride. This is very typical on every Waltzer. On the front of the ride, you'll have a big piece of art and a sign, and it will say Waltzer or the name of that Waltzer. They're not all called Waltzer. Some of them are called like Thunderdome, Speed of Sound. They're all called different names, but the typical name is a Waltzer. And then it also will have, normally, not all the time, the name of the showman, the person who owns it, who presents it at a fair. So of course I'm going to do Coaster B's Waltzer. So I'm just kind of using the text feature there in game, writing some text out. I'm going to put it kind of on a curve around the front. So I'm going to, first of all, going to do my YouTube username, Coaster B, and then I'm going to write out Waltzer underneath it as well in some big text, and then put some lights in that on it. Make this marquee really cool, really obvious that this is a Waltzer, who owns it, and this is where you can enter and get onto the ride. So I've been on quite a few Waltzers in my time, not in the last few years, but when I was younger. I've actually been on an American Tilt-A-Whirl as well, only one, I don't know where it was. I'm actually might have been in Canada, but I can't really remember. And they're just, it's the same ride, but so different at the same time, just a different kind of setup. And I don't know, I think the Tilt-A-Whirl rides are more of a family attraction maybe in America. Any of my American viewers, please let me know if you've been to like any state fairs or carnivals and you've been on like a Tilt-A-Whirl. I don't think I've ever seen one in America have people riding the platforms and spinning the cars like by hand. I don't know if that's just a British thing or whether they do it on Tilt-A-Whirls as well, but I have never actually seen it myself or on YouTube. I've been doing some research. So yeah, but yeah, basically the guys that work on the Waltzer, they will ride the platforms around and they'll come to each car and they'll grab the corner of your car and they will just spin it like as fast as they can as you hit one of the dips, and you get some intense spinning, and it's really, really cool. When I was really little, I didn't like waltzers at all. It was way too intense for me. And as I got a little bit older, like when I was a teenager, I used to love going on the waltzer at the fair. Always such good fun. And as I've got older again, I can't really handle the spinningness as much anymore, unfortunately. I'm definitely more of a roller coaster person. I love riding roller coasters. But I do the odd flat ride here and there, as long as I've taken a travel sick tablet. If I don't take a travel sick tablet, I start feeling really, really sick. And even with like simulator rides, like if I go to Universal Studios, which is heavily based on like simulators and screen attractions, I start feeling really like motion sick, which is such an annoyance for being a theme park fan. So I end up taking travel sick tablets. Anyway, so some of the waltzers have like these red or whatever color screens that kind of like block the light from the back or whatever. So I've used some glass and I've tipped it on its side there, and I've put it around the back to kind of get this red kind of perspex glass look around the back of the ride. So I'm actually really happy with how it looks. I think it looks so cool. I'm really happy with it. I'm just going to add some details onto the roof now, so cross beams, the little center bit, and then also when they do like a build up, so obviously these rides are transportable and they have to be built at every venue, they have like a little crane on the roof that kind of picks up the cars and picks up all the different pieces to help them build it. So I'm just going to do that now as well, which will just be on the top of the roof. And then once I finish doing that, I'm going to take you into a little 10x10 square map little diorama, just to show you kind of like a little scene of a fun fair with the waltzer. But yeah, something different from me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you all next time here for another episode on my channel. Bye.